Hey y'all, what's going on? Yeah. If you see me, you already know. My face shouldn't be on your screen if it's not for any other purposes, but welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in. It is time for another episode of Eddie G's Comic Culture. Once again, I'm your host, the one and only incomparable Eddie G, here bringing it to you live and in full effect as I always do. And just like I promised, I'm here with my Joker review. I gotta tell you guys first things first before I jump anything because I'm hella excited. I know I promised to make this episode. I promised to upload and film this episode yesterday, but I gotta be real with y'all. Like my mind was just so. I haven't, it was a hell of an experience. It's been an experience. It's been an experience I haven't had in such a long time, and damn. So before I even get into that, though, first things first. You already know the deal. The shout outs come. The show is still sponsored by the great folks over at Black Apparel, so make sure you do yourself a favor and drop on the website at www.blackapparelblk.com. Shout outs to my boy Kevin. He's got some brand new stuff all up on the website, so make sure you stop through, pull up and pick something out for you guys. It's getting colder up there. It's gonna be a little bit before it starts touching down on Florida, honestly speaking. But if you guys are in in the tri-states and northeast, wherever, I know you're gonna be using some. You probably need some hoodies, which we definitely got on deck right now. So that's number one. First things first, my Instagram family, Blu-ray Dan, Nerdy Blurb TV, AJ Reacts. Make sure you stop through and show some love to their pages. They got some wonderful content. My boy Dennis Knight, he just finished his run over at New York City Comic Con. So I hope you guys, if you were at the Javits Center over the weekend, I hope you guys stopped through and showed some love at his booth. Let's see. Shout out to my boy Wins and Wins Collectibles, his YouTube channel as well. He's got some great content. Wonderful collection is what he's got. And Channel 3 Productions, of course. And so on and so forth. All of my friends, everyone, all of y'all, I love y'all. All just in case, if you could, my friend, my darling, beautiful friend, Zalim Diaz, she's still in the running for the Maxim Cover Girl. So make sure you stop on over there to hit that vote. I believe it's still going on right about now. I'm not too sure. I think Thursday might be the drawing point. I'm not too sure. I have to double check with that. But it is at maximcovergirl.com/2019/Zalim-Diaz. That's the name. So make sure you drop some hits, show some love. You can get a free daily vote, or if not, you can also make a purchase for 2 votes as well. Which the purchase actually does. It actually goes for a great cause for the Wounded Warriors Project of homeless veterans and so on and so forth. So let's help her get to that goal of hers. Especially how she deserves it with all the work that she's done. So now that that's out of the way, let's get this party started. First things first, Joker. My review. Damn, I don't even know how to start this review off. I gotta be honest with you guys. Like, I had to process the shit after like a day because the experience in itself was so unbelievable, so overwhelming. It is definitely what the critics are saying it is. The positive ones also. I mean, I've been reading, like, I've gone through all of Rotten Tomatoes. I had to see what the reception of this movie was doing since the controversy, so on and so forth. On the beginning, it was just mostly, in the beginning it really stirred up a lot of the controversy from what it started off to be with the violent nature of the film. And I gotta tell you guys, it's not even that serious as far as that's concerned. It is graphic in its moments, obviously, but this is really a character study, and it uses a lot of the film. The entire premise of the film is basically carried through the point of view of Arthur Fleck, played by Joaquin Phoenix, and I gotta tell you, first things first, the man is amazing at the job. He did everything that I expected. He was more and then some in stellar. I just wish they gave him a little bit more material to work with. Although this was the first incarnation of the character in itself, and it is not the definitive. It is not the definitive character as it was stated before, but for a wonderful springboard for the universe to actually give some sort of a, it gave a real meaty backbone to the Joker's history. Now we all know as true comic book fans the Joker has no cemented background whatsoever. The closest we may have gotten was maybe the Killing Joke, but that's even that is a toss up because as I said before, like the Joker prefers his past to be multiple choice. There is no solid background as far as that's concerned, so it leaves so many avenues open to make so many different iterations of the character. And this movie delivers tenfold for me because the ambiance, the setting, the cinematography, it is all absolutely top notch. It is gorgeous. First and foremost, it is it's beautiful. It's just absolutely beautiful. The cinematography, the set pieces, everything that they did, considering the fact that the movie takes place in 1981. Yes, I'm gonna give away my age, my birth year, but it is absolutely stellar. And if you're a history buff like me, especially New York City history, you definitely realize that you'll recognize quite a bit of that. Gotham City, they took Gotham City and they really meshed it with 1970, like late 1970s, early 1980s New York City, and that amalgamation was just absolutely beautiful. So that in itself, the end result was a huge payoff. It was a huge payoff. The movie starts off, like I said, with Arthur Fleck, and it's basically him. It's a story about. It basically focuses on losing. I guess you could say, how can I put this? It focuses on his mental illness. That's number one. This is just off the bat. He suffers from a condition that he suffers from a condition that apparently it is uncontrollable laughter, and it's a real condition. I actually, as I was looking through, I was looking through the research, going through the research of the film, and I started realizing, I started seeing the facts coming up about it. It is it's like a Tourette's type of syndrome. It's pretty bad, and it hurts, and it gets to the point where it actually hurts him, where you see him, actually holding his throat because he's having, he's gagging a bit every now and again, due to the fact of that due to the fact of that his syndrome. So his illness is really a primary focus on this movie. It is really focusing on the society that he's living in, how it batters him, how his grasp on normalcy, on a normal life, is literally dwindling at the seams because at the plank, because like he's just going through so much. Like it's an endless array of events that are overwhelming, and given the society at the time and what was misunderstood about mental illness, and because it is true in that sense, a lot of people didn't know how to handle him in the film, as far as the surrounding environment. Society didn't know how to interact well with him, and it cost him a lot. It cost him a lot of trouble, even though people didn't understand him, and he never gave him a chance to explain himself. But it starts off with that. You get the glimpse of that in the beginning of the picture, as in the scene where he's riding the bus into the city, and he's having a little fun with the kid. I guess he's just goofing around with the kid on the bus, and then his mom, the kid's mom turns around, and then of course we all see it in the trailer, "Stop bothering my child," and that's when he actually pulls out a card and gives it to her, explaining the condition that he has mentally. So, as we dive deeper and deeper into his psyche, we start realizing, all these elements in his life that's affecting him. He suffers from the cuts of healthcare, so he's not able to get his medication, and that's when all kinds of things just really occur that really, like, his relationship with his mother is pretty pivotal, and it's a little strange to get used to in the beginning, but you see how they're living, and you cannot help but feel pity for the man. His life is, he's an aspiring stand-up comedian, and even though he's failing miserably along the way. But he's still trying. His home life isn't the greatest, so he's trying to make the best. He's trying to make do with the best that he's got. He's trying to make the best out of a worse situation with that, and that in itself is that in itself was had its own hurdles for him to jump, and then the issues that he had with his job, and the problems that he was having keeping his job, and the people that they were, the people that were working with him, and how they were treating him, how people were treating him outside of work. And a lot of these issues really come into play in his life because, as a person with mental illness, a lot of people, it's very difficult to understand when you can't explain it properly. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes the feelings that you get, it feels a little, you can't really put you can't really put your feelings into words because of the way that your emotions can be so overwhelming from time to time. you know so on a lot of levels, like, I could see some people like sympathizing with that, and that's what really shook me down to the core about it was Joaquin's acting when he was really delivering, was he was delivering that message on mental illness. I really saw this, even though this was a DC film, even though it's not really a DC film. They just use the Joker in name to represent an individual who loses his grip on his sanity because of because of society, and his personal life is just kicking him down. And it's a tough watch at certain points because you have, you know if you're not accustomed to that, if you're not accustomed to certain things as far as the mental illness, because that's what I really think is really causing so much of the controversy, because of the fact that it's bringing the issues of mental illness in such a raw way that a lot of people aren't really taking key. They're not. It's making people uncomfortable, and it's noticeable. But that's the point of the movie. I'm gonna, without giving too much away, because I want you guys to go in there fresh. I want to know what your experience is like. I definitely do. So, that's one thing I want to. This is one time I really want to hear back from you guys. I want to know, what did you think personally of this movie. So when you go in there, I want you to go in, fresh, and recognize. You know what I'm saying, because this is such a powerhouse. I don't want to. I'm not gonna sound cliche by saying it's a masterpiece, because there's certain things that I did have issues with. They're minor, but it's just a simple fact. I don't want to sensationalize it by sounding so cliche and jumping on the wagon and joining everybody else saying, "Oh, it's a masterpiece." This, that, and the third. It is a fantastic film. It is wonderfully crafted. It is beautifully acted by everyone involved. Everyone involved in this movie did a fantastic job. That is not a lie. That is something that you will definitely enjoy this. Just off of the strength of that, just off of the strength of the performances alone, you are going to enjoy the movie. Just the relationships that he has, like I said, with his mother, and then Zazie Beetz. I forgot her character. Sophie was her name in the movie, and that was my only complaint, was that she was such a cool character, but she wasn't in it as much as I thought she was going to be. And it would have been a little bit, to me, it would have been a little bit more interesting, and it might have softened the blow a bit. With the critics, had they kind of like elaborated a little bit more on their relationship, stretched it out a little bit, something, just give it a little bit more substance, other than, because they did have a little connection here and there, but we didn't really have enough time to take it, other than just to take it for face value. It doesn't mean that Zazie Beetz did not do a great job. She did a fantastic job. Robert De Niro really owns this role. Like, he's really, like, when he as far as him being a stand, like a late night talk shows, like, you really see Bobby D, like, he's taking ownership of that shit. Like, he really just, like, he he really took his. It was like watching him become, like, it was like watching him turn into Johnny Carson. Johnny Carson with the / Conan O'Brien, and but he was really great in the movie. I love that about it. But as I said before, this movie really focuses on the issues of mental illness today, and it uses the character of the Joker to do so. And I think that they could. That is one of the most unique and abstract ways of bringing such a national issue to attention because, you know, mental illness. At one point in time, all right, at one point in time, I was in 2006. I was actually interning for Bellevue Hospital in New York City. I spent a couple of months there working as one of the one of the clerks that was sending, that used to set up patient appointments. And from time to time, Bellevue Hospital is a very big hospital. If you're not familiar with it, and if you haven't been there, then it's in New York City. It's downtown Manhattan. Actually, it's a very big hospital, very very huge hospital, and it's mostly infamous for being. It used to be I guess it used to be a psycho ward, but then it used to, it used to be a psychiatric hospital, and then it became a regular hospital. But the top area, like, it just became like, it was all it became, it was the psych ward was upstairs, and once in a while I went up, to help with a few when I had some break, when I would get a break or whatever. I would go with either one of the registered nurses or the CNAs or whatever, because if I was cool with them. And I went from time to time to go up there because that was where they had to pick up their checks. And that was one of the most, I'll be honest with you, it was one of the most eeriest places I've ever seen in my life. And I wasn't even in there to look into people because I didn't want to, you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't want to go walking down the halls like it was, and just start looking into rooms and all that other crazy, because I did not want to be in an environment like that. It will creep you it's gonna creep you the fuck out, number one. And number two, you really aren't gonna, if you're not prepared to see any kind of crazy, if you're not prepared to see anything abnormal, I could say, without being offensive. I'm not trying to be offensive at all, but it was hard. Like, it's not one of those places to be. It's really not. And this is, and there was times I had to do, and I used to be all over the hospital. From time to time, I did the deliveries here and there. I had to bring papers from the mail room. The mail room was down in the basement next to the morgue. It was all kinds of crazy shit. But when it came down to the psych ward, it was really from time to, like, you would hear certain things. Like, I heard certain things when I went up there, and I was just like, I got to get out of here. Let's just get your check and let's go. This sounds terrible, and the problem is that a lot, throughout the country, I hate to sound so, a lot, the backstory regarding a lot of these mental institutions is really, it's really fucked up. A lot of them were really used as testing facilities. They did a lot of stuff with people that they weren't supposed to do, and because of that. Because of the history of that, now I think almost a majority of them are completely shut down. And with that being said, quite a few of them are without care, without shelter. So a lot of them are homeless. And it really, it's a trickle down effect where it just, so it didn't go that deep into that, but it really focused on the fact of how mental illness was being treated at the time. And I imagine it's, it really did this, without people knowing much, and people fear what they don't understand, and mental illness is definitely one of them. And I guess it really just, it's shown the light. It really just put the mirror up in everybody's face. Like, you can't, like, we cannot neglect this. We've been turning our backs on it. Society has pretty much turned its back on the fact of mental illness really becoming becoming an epidemic on the rise, because you just look at the news today, it's evident. So I think that the movie's real focus on that, the spotlight of it, is what made the critics uncomfortable, and they didn't really grasp it with as much open arms as as I felt that they should have. And they started using certain things like pretentious and all this, that, and a third, and being derivative and this, that, and a third. And that's, whatever. I'm not going to, people are allowed to have their own opinions, but I think those are pretty much easy cop-outs. Those are pretty much easy cop-outs, honestly, because I think they did a fantastic job. Everyone involved did a fantastic job, and people are saying, like, I know that one of the reviewers on the New York Times kind of got pissed off at the fact that, like, are you kidding me? But I'm like, yeah, I'm not. We are serious. Like, why shouldn't it be nominated? I mean, you have I'm gonna be honest with you. 90% of, and I've made this complaint before, every one of these movies that the Academies win, that the Academy Awards that they bless with Best Picture and all this other bullshit, are the stupidest fucking movies I could ever possibly imagine. I'm sorry. I really don't give a shit. You know, as far as like this one, like for example, American Beauty. I really don't give a crap. I don't give a damn about a middle. I don't give a shit about a middle class family in a suburb who's suffering from bullshit problems. You know what I'm saying? Like that doesn't make sense. Why is that even highlighted? Why is that even fucking celebrated? It's nonsense. That's pretentious. To me, that is pretentious filmmaking. It is unnecessary, and it's unneeded. It's just not needed. You know, but yet they still make it all the time. They still make those films all the time. And they appeal for a certain demographic. Not for everybody, obviously, but they appeal to a certain demographic. No disrespect to Ryan Gosling, but La La Land. Really? Really? Even if I've never even seen the film, so I don't know. I heard it was somewhat of a musical, but I don't give a shit about that, bro. Like, a musical. The last good musical that was that I guess the last good cinematic musical was what, Grease. Everything else is just, everything else was hog shit after that. You're not gonna tell me none of those Step Up movies or Save the Last Dance or God knows what else, whatever stupid ass movie they came out with. That shit doesn't make me. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that these critics are turning on Joker, those are just examples that I was just tossing out there, by the way. But the fact that these critics are turning on Joker and just having the audacity to say that it's a pretentious film, I find it very disrespectful. This is a slap in the face. It's a complete slap in the face, because they're saying that now because somebody made a mention that Adam Driver, and I'm gonna use this as an example. I have to IMDb this shit. Because somebody said that Adam Driver was pretty much in the running for exactly a movie that I was just talking about just now. What the hell is this crap? Marriage Story. Noah Baumbach's incisive and compassionate look at a marriage breaking up and a family staying together. And you know the fucked up part about this is that this kind of crap will win. Why? Why is this even why is this even a spotlight? So you mean I'm willing to bet dollars to donuts that this is the type of dumb shit that happens. It's some stupid ass movie centered on a fucking couple that probably just, the wife probably mispacked the guy's lunch the wrong way, or just gave him a peanut butter and jelly sandwich when he was really looking for a liverwurst sandwich to bring to work, and this shit just set off a whole fucking chain of events. Now he's looking at his secretary the wrong way that he wants to have, because he feels like his wife is doing him dirty and all kinds of dumb shit. And I just don't give a fuck. That's not cinema. That is garbage. That is absolute garbage. But it's purely fucking boring. There's nothing to it. So now when you have a movie like Joker that brings a unique vision it brings a unique topic in a unique way and to the forefront. And it makes people, and just because it has the effects of making a few people uncomfortable, now they want to, no, I don't buy that. So at the end of the day, I'm sorry, but I have to agree with it. It's a fantastic film. It's a 9 out of 1 to 10, 10 being excellent. I give it a 9.5. Fuck yeah, I gave it a 9.5. You're damn right. Joaquin deserves it. Everyone involved in the film deserves it. The recognition, the awards, the accolades, everything, because they put their heart and soul into this. This was such a fantastic movie. It's so well made. I don't care what you know what I'm saying. Like the pretentious part just really upset me from these critics. So it's just don't pay attention to it. It's all a bunch of bullshit. It's really just a bunch of bullshit. Go in there with an open mind. And be ready to say and just be prepared. That's all you have to do. Just be prepared. It's not a happy-go-lucky film. You're not gonna be there. It is no happy ending. You understand that? Let me just get this out the way right now. You're not getting a happy ending. There's not gonna be. It's not your regular run-of-the-mill comic book film where there's gonna be some sort of It doesn't have that. All right, it doesn't have none of that. It takes the liberties that it takes because of the fact that there's so much freedom with the characters, especially with Batman's rogue gallery, so on and so forth. This movie did a fantastic job, and I implore each and every one of you to go see it. And when you do, make sure you come back to this video, you hit me up in the comments section, you let me know what you liked and what you didn't like, because I want to see. I want your feedback more than ever on this one. Now, before I close out this episode, I have to throw down. I'm not going to talk about the Martin Scorsese slamming on the MCU or whatever the case may be, because yes, that's his film and blah blah blah. It's not cinema, whatever. Again, another one of those grasping at the straw arguments, and it's just that's subject to whatever, brother. But it is what it is. But I really wanted to get into another one of these. Another, since the New York Comic Con passed this weekend, another Zack Snyder article comes up, and at this point now he confirms that General Swanwick from Man of Steel and BVS was apparently John Jones' Martian Manhunter. You know what? I gotta echo one of the comments I seen on Facebook regarding this. Alright, this fucker's just making shit up now. This fucking guy is just making shit up on the fly, and he doesn't even care anymore. Because he's just doing whatever the hell he wants to get relevant with the situation. I guess the Joker getting such a positive buzz. And it really, what an idiot. Like how stupid can that be? And then of course his fucking loyal fans are over there at the fucking are at the bit, chomping at the bit, like yeah, cheering this type of piss poor decision, this piss poor creative decision, raw, that all the way to the top. No, man, this is ridiculous. It's decisions like that. It's stupid shit like that. That's the reason why the DCCU is where it's at. I refuse to call it DCEU. I'm not gonna call it that crap. I'm not gonna call it that. The DCCU is where it's at because of stupid creative decisions by letting the wrong person take charge, and this is a clear-cut example of it. So you mean to tell me that John Jones completely just stood at the sidelines while all this was going on in Metropolis during Man of Steel, and then the stuff that was going on in Dawn of Justice? Like, are you fucking kidding me? It's a good thing that his guy's no longer at the helm anymore, even though he's desperately trying to get back, because that's exactly what he's doing. I don't care what anybody says. He's doing this bullshit so then within hopes that one of the new execs over there at Warner Brothers is going to take him in, and mind you, it's not happening. It's just not fucking happening. His shit's already getting retcons within next month. Well, no, not even January. Yeah, no, June. In Wonder Woman. So we got less than a year for that. Why is he still pushing for this crap? I don't know. It's beyond me. It really is beyond me, because this guy's pretty pathetic. But whatever. Either way, another one of those moments. As I said, I had to get off the chest. Please, can we just find a way to put a gag order on this man's social media so he no longer entices these fans? I know that they already put billboards in Times Square for the Snyder Cut in this past weekend. Fantastic. Thank you guys for wasting I don't know how many thousands of dollars for absolutely nothing. You guys are wow. But anyway, need to each his own. Well, yeah, so that's that. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the episode, and I hope you guys liked my review. If you have any questions, if you agree or disagree, comments, you already know the deal. Hit that comment section. But while you're at it, don't forget to hit the subscribe button as well, and make sure you get those notifications on as well, so whenever I'm dropping some new hits, you guys are the first to know. Thank you guys for tuning in once again, and I hope you guys enjoy the movie. I'll see you next time. Peace and love.